Hello, guys, and welcome to Comic Book Weekly. And we have a fun pack show for you guys, but let's introduce everybody. So, Brant, say hi.
Hi, I'm Brant.
That's it. And then,
What's up, everybody? Yeah.
And how about you, Chris? What's going on?
Hello, everybody. And nothing much going on. Same old same.
And we, like we said, we have a big show with Power Girl returning. That's our title this week. More to talk about with that. But we don't have that much news this week. So let's just jump into it. Our first comic book news piece is the Power Pack to return with the original creative team. We don't know exactly when that's happening. It's just that the creators said this is a project that they're working on. And I'm excited. I really like the previous Power Pack series. I love Power Pack in general. And I'm curious to see if the original team will kind of lean more into what they were doing with their original run, or if they're going to follow the threads of the modern stories and how these characters have changed since the 80s.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what they do with it too, because I really enjoyed that last series that they put out. So it'll be interesting, like you said, to see if they pick up those threads or if they go back to the original version of them or whatever. I don't know. I'm just curious to see what they do.
So let's get into some of that media news. So Brant, you saw that there's a new Digimon series coming out, which I feel like happens a lot with Digimon. But this one looks pretty similar to all those other reboots. Hopefully it's good. That's all we could ask for. I'm a huge Digimon fan, but I'd never really been able to get into stuff past like Tamers. Frontier. Frontier was probably the last season where I was like, oh, this was really good. Then after that, I'm like, whatever. I did like some of the sequels to the original stuff, though.
Yeah, and I mean, I haven't seen a whole lot of it for a long time, but I do remember watching some of it with my brother, and it's I got fond memories of it, and I think it's cool because in addition to the series, I think they're doing a movie as well, an animated movie. So it's kind of cool to see some of these resurgence, but it's like I said, it's got this like little place in my heart. It was I don't know, it was like the lesser version of Pokemon at the time, but totally different. And for some reason, I liked it more. So, yeah, I'm curious to see, what the new series is like. I'll check it out for sure.
We have some questions in the comments about Digimon. Mike Manhattan says, what did you guys prefer more, Digimon or Pokemon? As a show, I personally prefer Digimon, but like the video games, I enjoyed Pokemon more.
Yeah, they definitely had superior video games, and I think the card game was better for Pokemon too. But yeah, cartoon-wise, I enjoyed Digimon a little bit more, but my brother was more into Pokemon, so we watched both, but it was more Pokemon. So
Digimon actually came first, ironically enough, before Pokemon, but Pokemon just took the fan base by storm with the cards, the games, like Brent said. And the anime I actually enjoy a little. The only difference is the cards and the actual video game differ from the anime. Pokemon went in three completely separate directions when it came to the anime. Well, two separate directions with the anime and the manga, and the video game. The manga and the video game kind of coincide a little bit, whereas the anime just went its own way. But I always favored Pokemon over Digimon.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It had more broader appeal, I think, Pokemon did, but Digimon was cooler. So,
yeah, and Pokemon got Nintendo money because Nintendo took
that's true.
Video games.
That's true. I played a lot of that game, that N64 game where you take the pictures of the Pokemon. Whatever that was called, Pokemon Snap. That's it.
They made a reboot of that.
Did they really? Okay.
Yeah, it's for the Switch.
Nice.
We also have another question from Tevia. Do you believe that they'll retcon the Outlawed event? I don't know if they'll retcon an event that just happened. That doesn't tend to happen, but it also doesn't seem like many titles have been too affected by the events of Outlawed, so I don't know if there's much to retcon.
Yeah, it's like Outlawed tried to be what Civil War kind of was with New Warriors, and it just didn't take. But it's still referenced everywhere, like lightly. It's still present in every book, so I don't think they'll retcon it. I think they'll just kind of move on from it.
Yeah, exactly.
So next thing is that Hawkeye gets a release date, and that is going to be for November 24th, so just in time for Thanksgiving time period. But then there's also questions of other series like Miss Marvel, and I think there was another one that was supposed to release in 2021. And where do they fit? Are we going to get more series after What If, or is it going to be Hawkeye right after? I mean, I'm stoked for Hawkeye. If I have to wait for Miss Marvel for February, January, that's fine with me. But yeah, the picture looked awesome.
Yeah, I'm really excited for Hawkeye. It's just it's going to be fun. All these Marvel shows have been fantastic for me. I've enjoyed every single one of them so far. I haven't watched. I mean, What If is that even out yet, or is it coming out?
I don't think it's out.
I think it's coming out this month. Yeah, but like it's. I mean, that's animated, so it's a little bit different. And then, but as far as these live action ones go, I've soaked all of them up, and I can't wait for the next one. I really like Haley Steinfeld. And the things I've seen her in, I think she's really good, and I can't wait to see a live action version of Kate. So that's going to be really cool.
Tizzy says, "Did you guys hear that Hawkeye will be deaf in the series?" They said, "I'm just like, when did this happen?" He's been deaf for a lot of the comics, but just some books reference it and some don't. I don't know where it started, like if that was like part of his origins or not, but it's definitely been around for a while.
Yeah,
especially that Fraction run, they did a lot with it.
Yeah, they play with that, and then like in Old Man Hawkeye, I think he was like, all his senses were kind of dull because he was he was going blind too. So it's like, it's one of those things. Like certain powers that certain characters have that they just kind of remember that they have them every once in a while. So
let's move on to the last news topic, which is Scarlett Johansson suing Disney, which is definitely a huge topic. Reason being is because her contract obviously was written up before COVID, and the promise of making the money of what the box office made was definitely something that was worth it back then. And then that they just kind of did Disney Plus instead, and she didn't make money from Disney Plus. She only was making money from the box office. She's suing Disney. Emma Stone might be doing the same thing. So some craziness there. I think both sides is an interesting place. I actually maybe agree a bit more with Scarlett Johansson on this one, just because get the money that you are due, but at the same time it's a contract, so it's like it's very touchy territory.
Yeah. Chris had marked this one, so I wanted to give him a chance to talk first.
Chris, do you have an opinion on Scarlett Johansson?
I'm not surprised when it comes to Disney and Marvel doing what they're doing. Sorry, Tommy's is playing in the background. I have myself muted and I didn't even realize. And I'm answering you guys, and you're not answering me. And I'm like, I guess they're very deep into what they're saying. And then I realized my mic was muted. So no, I mean, with the Scarlett Johansson thing, I mean, I was reading an article about it, and yeah, she doesn't get paid. She gets paid by how many people watch the movies in the theaters. And it being on Disney Plus, they don't give her the correct numbers, so she's not getting the right pay or something like that. So I don't blame her or anyone who's getting pissed off that the Disney Plus streaming service is kind of taking away from their movies. But movies are just opening up again too. I mean, I wish there was a way you could kind of combine the people who pay extra to watch the movies on Disney Plus and the movie theaters. And I think that's kind of what they're going to have the consensus on.
It's just different because, box office is based on single ticket sales, right? Every person is a different ticket sale, whereas you buy it on Disney Plus or something, you could have your whole family watching for one. Exactly. But it's a higher charge. Granted, it's like $30 to watch it that way, but still, I get it.
She got the Disney Plus money, though. I think she only was getting the box office money, which is crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, I know a lot of people have said, it's Scarlett Johansson. She's probably rich anyway. Why, what does she need more money for? But you got to put it in perspective. It's like,
why does Disney need more money?
Yeah. I mean, she's she's paid for a job that she did, so she should get what she's owed for that job. That's all there is to
She's
that.
not wrong. I'm sorry. She's not wrong for wanting, correct pay. And I think that they should find a way. And she's not wrong. They should find a way to give her the money she deserves, because a lot of people are not in the, are watching it from the streaming service right now instead of going to the theaters.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks, James Phelps, for we appreciate you enjoying it. So.
Yeah, we're glad you have tuned in. But that's all the news for this week. Again, it was kind of a slower news week, but we are going to go into the books. I don't think there was anything in the middle we were going to discuss this week. I guess except the topic we could talk about the topic of the show, which has to do with Power Girl returning. But also, we'll talk about the classic costume that has returned as well and our thoughts on that. So we'll talk about, I guess, Infinite Frontier as a whole as well. But the big ending of that issue was the Infinity Inc. returning. I don't know much about the team.
See, like you, I thought they were called Infinity Inc., but when I looked at it again, it said Infinite Incorporated. So I'm like,
I think they just changed it for
maybe
this
they changed
iteration. It. Yeah, I think it is Infinity Inc., but they're just like, we're gonna name it something new.
Yeah, because it's Infinite Frontier, so now it's got to be Infinite Incorporated. I guess I don't. That's funny. But it was cool seeing those characters back because we haven't seen them for a long time, and. Aside what you're referencing, obviously, is the outfit of Power Girl that also returned, which is the window, which the infamous window,
window into the soul.
Into the soul. Yeah, that's one way of putting it.
Sure.
Yeah, but no, it's cool. I like. I like Power Girl, and everybody's been wondering where she's been at. And Jade, of course, she was there and then she wasn't, and now she's back. So it's going to be. I'm curious to see what they do with the team now. What their purpose is going to be. Because we kind of in Infinite Frontier, we learned that They took all of them for a very specific reason, which I'm trying to remember what that reason was. Something having to do with go ahead.
I was just gonna say I think they said it right. They tacked it right at the end, so I don't remember.
Yeah,
that was my comment.
Yeah, I remember there being a reason, and it's like because they brought in Roy, like they wanted everybody that was supposed to be dead to stay dead, and then they needed all these certain heroes for some kind of purpose. Somebody in the comments help us out because I can't remember exactly what they said. But I don't know. What did you think about the return, Kat?
I don't quite care about Power Girl that much. Like, I feel like she's a very overhyped character. Like, I like the Amanda Connor and Jimmy Palmiotti series.
Yeah,
but
it was fun.
Oh my god, this is the best series ever. And I feel like a lot of people put that series on a pedestal and the character on a pedestal because of that series. And, just because of the boob window as well. Like the idea of like somehow modern comics still keeping it because it's like become this parody, and most series have been able just to poke fun and commentate and make it a feminist, symbol. But at the same time, I just don't think I care about the character enough to care about our boob window, or to care that she's back. And because also, Power Girl has returned over and over again since the New 52, and they've absolutely done nothing with her. They don't know what to do with this character or her boob window. There's like, what is there to be excited about? I just saw her appear. They're not really promising anything else.
Yeah, that's true. And again, like you said, aside from Palmiotti and Connor's run, they've tried to do so many different things with this character. They, teamed her up with Huntress, teamed up with Harley Quinn, threw in all these different series and tried to, get her over again. And I don't think she's been over for a while, aside from that series. So hopefully they'll be able to do something, with her this time around. And, as far as the costuming goes and everything, it's interesting that they brought it back. Why did they bring it back? Is it just, because they don't? yeah, nostalgia, or they don't care, or it's like you said, they're trying to make it an empowering thing again. I don't know, but it probably doesn't mean a lot in the grand scheme of things. Um,
That's also, I guess, my biggest worry about the series in general. Like, obviously, I know it's supposed to be a big impact for DC Comics, but every series that has been a big impact on DC Comics doesn't feel like it is integrated into
yeah,
any other series. Doomsday Clock was one. Doomsday Clock almost felt like an Elseworld story in many ways, because how many books actually played with it? And now this, it's like it's playing with C-list characters. So where is this going to be picked up on? Where is this thread going to be picked up on?
Not only,
Yeah.
but every story that Power Girl's involved in really doesn't make a big impact on the DC universe. No
For
book
sure.
that Power Girl's
Yeah.
in has ever had an impact on the DC universe. And even the main storylines right now, Superman, Batman, Justice League, they all kind of feel like they're their own stories. Nothing feels like one universe anymore. It all feels like little pieces all over the place.
Tevia says, I like
Of
her.
course.
It's a great costume. It makes Power Girl stand out.
Yeah, stand
Well,
out. Right. She
it
stands
definitely
out.
does that.
She definitely stands out. Look, I mean, originally, what was it made for? It was made for cheesecake. Again, I think that a lot of thank you, Bam.
Yeah, thank you.
Nothing wrong
Appreciate
with Power
that.
Girl's costume. It's like people complaining about Nightwing's ass zoom in comics. But at the same time, like if Nightwing's ass was the only thing you ever saw, like let's say like you never saw Dick Grayson. Nightwing has a wonderful ass, but picture this: it's a comic book where Dick Grayson has the cameras on Dick Grayson's ass. And you never see his face. That's it. You just see his ass all the time. Like he's always turned around. That's kind of like how the Power Girl boob window is. You're always seeing the boob window.
It's true.
Comic dedicated to Nightwing's ass now. I see it.
Every panel needs to be dedicated to Nightwing's ass because you only see it every once in a while, right? You get to see a nice shot of Nightwing's ass like every 10 issues or so. The boob window, you're just always seeing it, you know? Which is nothing wrong with either, but just making the commentary.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely not complaining about it. It's just interesting choice, given that many characters have veered away from their, or at least for a certain period of time, they veered away from their more sexy costumes, like we saw, especially in Marvel with Captain Marvel and Spider-Woman. And then, we saw Spider-Woman go back to that costume, and it's just interesting to see how things change quite abruptly and kind of go back to norm. So
we do have wars. Go on, Chris.
I was just gonna say, personally, I was never a huge fan of Power Girl. The costume
I wasn't either.
Stupid, in my opinion. It was, and then when they made the whole, when was it? It was during the New 52 where they're like, the window in my chest was because there was always a hole in my life. I'm like, oh please.
Really, I don't remember that. I remember
there was a hole in her life, and then they put a symbol over it, and the hole and the opening.
Wow, yeah, that's kind of
the dumbest shit I've ever read in my life, and I had to call it that because that's exactly what it was. They put a big P over it.
I think it was in Palmiotti and Connor's run where she did the whole it's there to distract people kind of thing, and it's that at least makes sense. It's a retconning kind of thing, but at least it makes sense. But yeah.
I think one question we did have from Tevia: what was our thoughts about Roy Harper and his daughter Leanne? I love Leanne. I love Roy.
Yeah.
It feels so similar to Wally's story, and I'm just so tired of that. It's just like stop teasing us. Just bring the daughter back, or don't bring the daughter back. Just stop.
That is true. That I didn't even think about that, but that is absolutely Wally's story, which is weird considering the recent history with Wally and Roy, that they would have similar stories. But yeah, I'm glad that she's there. She's out there somewhere, because that was when she died, that was like huge, so.
Gore says it's funny that Harley Quinn's costume has become more revealing and sexualized over the 20 years. That is true. And but also what's interesting about Harley's sexualization, from most parts, it really is about her. It's not really about like the male gaze, depending on the book you're reading. But, Power Girl, because of the times, was more about the male gaze, but they reversed it in a lot of ways. Other than that, are you guys liking Infinite Frontier? I guess is the question, right?
Yeah.
I like your its. I feel like we're in the same category.
Yeah. It's kind of middle ground. Yeah, it's not blowing me away. It's like there's some interesting things that happen in it, but it's not that series that I'm like, oh my god, this is changing everything, the foundation of everything. I can't wait for the next issue, kind of thing. No.
Also, too much is going on. There's too many characters and too many story arcs. Kind of feels like the future end stuff, like back then.
Yeah.
Eternal, where there's like
That's
so many
a great
arcs
comparison.
going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked the first issue, and I think since then it really hasn't found a footing, sadly. But definitely not a bad book. I still want to see it through, and I still like the read. I just want to love the read.
Yeah, exactly. I want something big to happen. So it's like these characters coming back wasn't big enough for me. Like, I mean, Jade was literally just there. And so it's like, okay, she disappeared for a minute and she's back. I mean, Power Girl coming back is, big if you're a Power Girl fan. Obviously that's not necessarily us, but I know there are a lot of people out there in the comics as well that are big fans. So I just want that big thing that's like, oh my God, I can't believe they did that. And I'm not sure we're going to get that. So
I definitely don't think so, but we can only hope. What about Flashpoint Batman? What about him? I think that is like the exact thing. He's in it. Cool. That's it. That's another thing that frustrates me is that there's all these multiverse characters, and that's the point of the book. But they feel like decoration to me.
Yeah, and it's like they teased us with issue 2 with Magog. He came back, and it's like, oh, he's bad again, and then it's like, no, he's not. Not really in this issue. It's like, okay, so what was that about? But yeah,
I agree. But I guess we'll go into Under the Radar. I'll pass it on to Brant.
On to me.
Yeah,
I don't know. I thought Chris was going to do it, but yeah that's fine.
You go for it, Chris. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I don't have an under the radar this week, but I think you two do. So I'm going to actually turn to, since Cap went to Brant, I'm going to ask Brant, what was your under the radar this week?
My under the radar was Black Cat, number 8, and she ends up in my under the radar a lot. But this issue was a fun issue. It was tied into the whole Infinity thing, but loosely until the end. But basically, it was another heist issue, which most Black Cat issues are. This time, she's stealing something from Nick Fury, and it brings this whole altercation between her and Nick Fury, and there's a great dialogue between the two of them. It starts with this inner monologue with Black Cat, talking about everything that's going on with her, but then like Nick Fury's kind of lecturing to her on stealing from the old shield tech and stuff and nuclear waste and all this stuff, and by the end of it she's just like, thanks for the lesson or whatever that was, but I'm still leaving with this thing, and she gets the best of Nick Fury, which was fun. And where it ties into the whole Infinity thing is what she stole, which we didn't do our spoiler alert thing, but spoiler alert, it's Star, who apparently has been incapacitated and put in a box. I have not caught up on this whole Infinity stuff, so I didn't know that had happened. But yeah, Black Cat has stolen Star for her purposes to, I'm assuming, to warp reality in some way, shape, or form. So that'll be interesting. But this is always a good series. It's always a good read. And if you're a fan of Black Cat, you definitely want to check this out. So.
Star is the Captain Marvel character from about a year ago, and she's a Captain Marvel villain.
Yeah, she was just introduced. I think she was in Captain Marvel number 8 was the first appearance.
She was also in that. What event was that? Was it the Venom event? King in Black. Yeah, she was in the series with Taskmaster and.
Oh, okay. I didn't read that one.
Yeah, that whole ragtag group that Kingpin put together. She was in that team. So.
All right, so that was Brant's Cat. What was your under the radar this week?
Mine was Mighty Valkyries. I thought this issue improved a lot from what we've been seeing with the series. I like that finally Runa and Jane get to interact because I think
Yeah.
that's the best we've seen of the series because they're interacting. Artwork is really good. And I honestly thought that Runa's story had improved because she had the interaction with Jane, then she went to Thor. So you get something that's relative and
Mm-hmm.
you could connect it to things you like about Thor, and then Jane still has her journey and her I guess connection to being Valkyrie. There's some good action here, but yeah, I just thought it was a much better issue than we've been getting.
Yeah, it was a fun issue. It's weird that the art is still separate when they are interacting together now. So
It's not
it,
as good the other art. Sorry,
yeah, and
I'm
it's
here in front of my eye, and I'm like trying to get it. Okay.
and it's a little jarring because you got that super realistic style with Jane's story, and then you go to more standard kind of style with Runa's. But yeah, I liked her interacting with Thor and the rest of Asgard and stuff, and that was fun. Thor thinking that she stole the axe and all this stuff, and and the little flirtation with Jane's friend and Runa was fun too. I like that. So yeah, there was some movement, and obviously the stuff with Carnilla and Hela, Hela. I don't know how you pronounce her name.
Ella question mark? Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah, and it seems like they're trying to like get Carnilla out there again. She's actually in another book this week too. So
Okay.
yeah, she was in the Symbiote Spider-Man book. So that was weird to see her again, and a completely different vibe from her in that book
Yeah, what
too.
a random character to see.
Yeah.
So those were all the under the radar books. So we're gonna go to big books now.
Yeah, big books in top 5. So first book we are going to talk about is a book that this is going to be an interesting one to talk about because I know that you and I, Kat, were kind of hesitant about this book, but based on things I've seen you post online, I think this one may have won you over. So we're going to talk about Superman, Son of Kal-El, issue number 1. Very, very highly anticipated book, this one. So.
I genuinely enjoyed it. I will say if it was another week, it probably wouldn't have made the spot it did, but I thought it was a very, very solid issue. And I finally liked John. I thought the opener was really good. It set up a good foundation of his birth pretty much and why he's the son of Lois Lane and Superman. And then him trying to figure himself out, which has always been my problem with him, is that we don't really know him as a character. So it's nice that he doesn't know himself and he's kind of like questioning, well, what's my place in the world? And I just thought that as a first issue and in a writing perspective, it was just really well crafted as a first issue. So definitely on board for the rest of it. I enjoy this issue a lot as someone who quite dislikes John. So there you go. And doesn't love Superman.
They put every aspect of John's life in. Like you said, the birth. They put in a bit with him and Damian, which I thought was really good. I think that Tom Taylor's finally going to make John a likable character. Because I feel like we haven't gotten that true intro of John. We've had him here, there, and everywhere. He was a kid one day, then he was a young adult the next, then he was in Legion for a while, and then he wasn't. Now we at least are going to get some. And then we also have that underlining factor of, he's supposed to turn possibly. And how can that be prevented?
I hope not.
It's not going to happen. We know that that's something that's going to be undone before we get to that Future's End moment. But the art, I don't know if you noticed the art change in the beginning when they first showed like the flashback. It was one art style, and then when we got to present day, it was a different art style. I like how they kind of translated from that was what happened already, and now we're in present day. I really, truly thought this was a very solid first issue. If I really hated John as much as Kat, this would have made me love him even more.
I definitely like him. I don't know if love is the word. I
loved him. I liked him at least, but now I at least getting fleshed out stuff with him.
I thought the genius in the writing here with John and Damian together was that it really did feel like an evolution of their relationship and their banter when they were younger. Yeah,
I agree. It felt like a real thing because my biggest issue, I know people in the comments are going to be whatever, but my biggest issue of Super Sons is just because they were young and they should be together. Not that they actually worked to be together. Like they never did anything enough to earn a friendship. And here it felt a little bit more earned. I hope we get to see more scenes like that, but they don't feel real, in my opinion. They're just cute. And I hate that. I hate when just the cute factor sells something.
I get that. They were still fun for me, but I agree. Here, it felt more like a Tim and Connor kind of situation. It felt very familiar, yet its own thing. So I really appreciated that, and just like the little teases that could lean into leading to that future state stuff, like Wonder Woman saying he could do anything, and then Damian saying it's time Superman kind of takes charge and changes the world and that kind of thing. So it really could go either way, but I love how grounded John was here, and the art was gorgeous in this book too, and it was a lot to love. You guys highlighted most of it, but I really enjoyed this one as well. So our next book we're going to talk about is going on to the other side with Amazing Spider-Man issue 71. Next part of Sinister War.
You know what? I loved issue 1 of Sinister War. And I hated this book.
You hated it, really?
Yeah, I didn't hear what book.
Amazing Spider-Man.
All right, hate's a strong word, but
wow, I love this. Okay.
I didn't love it, but I did like it.
I just felt like it felt
in my top 5. It's one of the 5
so flat compared to that last issue. I was just like, man, it's just like it doesn't move at all. And then I'm excited for Sinister War issue 2 more because I feel like we're gonna get more plot progression. Because what happened in this book?
It was
Mary Jane in the hot seat, sort of, when it came to Kindred.
But we already seen that in this series. We've already seen issues where she was literally going up against Kindred. The only interesting thing was the Mysterio betraying her. I was like, okay,
but we didn't know at the time that Kindred was Norman Osborn. Now it's kind of like, well,
but still,
I don't know.
No, we did know at that time.
Did we?
We did know that was Harry.
Issue. Maybe I missed the issue where we knew, because I know she faced him before we knew it was Norman.
And the only other thing that happened in this issue really was that Carly and other Norman, got out of their jail cell or whatever, and we don't know why or how yet. But I think the interesting thing about this issue was, there wasn't a lot of progression, but it was focused on MJ not remembering things, and it was clearly referencing Brand New Day and all that stuff.
But how many times can you tease something?
I know.
It's just like I'm just so tired of it. It's like, it's so obvious for one more day, but it's just like it's been 50-something issues of that. Like, just give me something. It's just the same old, and then the dialogue work for Peter felt hollow, and it's almost the whole issue is just that dialogue work. It's like, what is the meaning behind these words? It just felt so fillerish.
I totally get that, and that's been one of our criticisms of this entire run, is that everything is very, very, very stalled, and I think that's the same thing with this issue. I did enjoy it just because of, I don't know, it got me excited that maybe there was an end in sight for this whole Brand New Day thing and Mephisto and all that stuff. And plus, I thought the art was really nice in the book too. So I enjoyed that. But
were there some parts you feel like it was a different artist? Because there was the Carly Cooper.
At first, I did question it. Yes.
And then I realized it wasn't.
It's so the art is Federico is doing part of it, but it's like the one artist with Federico Sabatini.
Okay, so it was a different artist who was doing the second part. Okay.
Yeah, so he's assisting. He's doing certain pages. I think that's the way he's been doing it since he started working on the book. Yeah. So. Because
I do think Federico's art is much stronger than the Carly art.
I agree.
Federico Vincenti and Federico Sabatini.
Both
it was a little confusing because they both have the same first name.
Yeah. So I think their art complements each other, but you can definitely tell where the art changes in the book, I think.
Well, I wasn't crazy then. Okay, that makes sense.
So we also have a question from Terry Vaughn. Hey guys, will Amazing Spider-Man be the #1 comic again anytime soon? Who's the next writer? Again, Sinister War issue 1 actually was my pick of the week when that came out. So
Yeah.
there are issues here and there that I genuinely enjoy. I just the next writers and next arc is Beyond Spider-Man with Ben Reilly and supposedly Peter dying. So I don't know, but Kelly Thompson is going to be on it, and that's all I really care about.
Yeah. I think it's several writers that are going to be tackling it after that, and who knows? It's really going to depend on who that creative team is, on whether it can rise to the top again. So,
for sure.
All right. So that will bring us into our top 5 with our number 5 picks, which mine is actually Amazing Spider-Man. So we'll just get that out of the way. So, Chris, what was your number 5?
TMNT Annual for 2021. Again, I didn't read that many books this week. I don't know. This might have actually fallen off it, but this was exactly what I said it was last week. A big lead up to an event that is going to be coming. However, I'm happy because it involves Rat King. We've had Rat King throughout the series being this big threat, but in the background, we really didn't get too much. Now he's starting this Armageddon war. And first he goes to his siblings. Each one, well, first he talks about what's happened. So if you haven't been reading Turtles, the beginning of the book kind of explains his involvement, his sister's involvement. I keep screwing up her name. It starts with an A. But and how issue 100 ended, the people who have been taken off of the board, as he calls it, because he sees this whole thing as a game for himself. So he goes to his siblings. He wants to start this big Armageddon war, and each one of them says no in their own unique way. Each sibling has a different artist that complements their world, which I loved. The one where they were with the big toad, that crazy art style worked perfectly for him. And in the end, all of them said no. So who does he go to? Every single arch rival of the Turtles. And of course, they all say yes. So now we're getting this big Armageddon war that's going to be coming to the Turtles book, which I'm happy because, and we've talked about this before, the Turtles book kind of just flatlined right now with Mutant City. So now that we're getting another threat again with this Armageddon war, and even bringing back Rat King and possibly the siblings as well, this could actually put a little bit of life back into the book, because it just feels like there's no, it was always the Turtles versus the Foot Clan or one of the Turtle classic villains. Now it's just them living in Mutant Town. At least now we're going to get some actual story possibly again.
That would be nice. Yeah, I mean, right after 100 and now how they were separated and dealing with the loss and all that kind of stuff, that was good. That was solid. But
yes,
the way it's gone from then, like you said, it's become more like just like a slice of life kind of book, which is fine if it's not Teenage Ninja Turtles and there's no ninja action.
Story arc. If it's a tiny story arc, that's fine, but not like it's we're already 10 or 15 issues past 100. Come on now.
It's 17, I think. Yeah, 17. It's 117 or something like that. I don't remember exactly.
That's a year's worth of content already, all just slice of life.
Yeah, I skipped this one because it didn't have the Turtles in it. So, yeah.
I thought you read it, Brett. I was gonna say, what did you think? Damn. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's why it's my number 5, though. You're right. The Turtles aren't in it, and it's their annual. Right.
Yeah. Exactly. So. All right. Well, I'm glad you enjoy it, though. So, and hopefully, it means good things coming for the Turtles in the future.
I hope.
All right. So, going into our next big book.
I didn't do my number 5 yet, Brant.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, Kat. Go ahead.
Cool. Mine is Daredevil issue 32. And yeah, this issue was good. At least the Elektra parts. I really liked her interaction with Bullseye and their weird dynamic because of all their history. And the Daredevil stuff I thought was the weaker aspect, the matte stuff. But artwork is also not as strong as usual, but I definitely enjoyed the Bullseye and Elektra stuff. And looking forward to the next issue.
Yeah, that's why it's not my top 5. A, the Daredevil stuff, and B, the art wasn't. I didn't feel like it was as strong as either. The Daredevil story, I'm kind of bored with it at this point. I just want him to be out of jail. Yeah, it's too long, and it reminds me of that season of Arrow when he went to prison. It's so similar.
He almost got out go to jail. And he's like, no, I'm going to stay.
Yeah. It's just like, okay. But the Elektra stuff was really, really strong. I loved Spider-Man, kind of guest starring in there a little bit. And the whole thing with her and Bullseye, it's just because of their history. Their history is so deep. And, her instinct is to kill him. And, she's wrestling with that throughout the entire issue. And I love that. And then, of course, the cliffhanger we get where there's multiples of Bullseye, which was okay. That's something they haven't done with that character before, so that's going to be interesting and very scary. So it was a good ending at least. So, did you read this one, Chris?
No, I didn't. I have to catch up with Daredevil.
All right. So now going into our next big book, which is Icon and Rocket, Season 1, Number 1, the next milestone book. I didn't love this issue. It's very much an origin story.
It's a bland origin story. It was like Superman meets I don't know what.
Yeah, that's the thing. Superman meets what?
Superman.
I don't know. It's like I need another issue to see if I actually like it or not. To see if it goes beyond this stage right here and actually gets into some superheroics and stuff. But Icon seemed a little standoffish, which kind of didn't bring me into that character. I didn't feel connected to that character. I felt connected more to Rocket. Right, Rocket's the girl, or will be the girl, right? Yeah.
I liked her, but I also thought she was kind of bland too. I didn't get anything out of it, which is why I probably won't get issue 2. Just because there wasn't one thing where I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, the only thing, I mean, the timing, the time period that he came into his abilities and into his being and everything that was going on and kind of shaped him as a character, I thought was interesting. I think it could have been written a little bit stronger to illustrate that point, but I'm kind of curious to see how they fare as a duo going into the rest of the story. So I'll probably try out the next issue and kind of judge it from there. But yeah, it left a lot to be desired, this issue. So
we have a couple of questions here. Tevye asks, did you guys and Kat, I guess because I'm not a guy. Okay. I was like, wait, and Kat read the original Milestone comics. I only read the Static comics from the original. And I definitely didn't read all of them.
Right. Just Static.
Then we also have him ask, which is better, Static or Icon and Rocket? Definitely Static.
Absolutely.
Sure. Yeah. And then the other question was from Terry. Is Daredevil the best Marvel book out now? Some people say Beta Ray Bill. I don't think Daredevil's the best book. I definitely like it a lot. I would say the best book, I mean, personal preference is Runaways, but let's take personal preference out of it. I'd probably say Immortal Hulk is the best Marvel book right now.
I love Black Widow. I think Black Widow's...
Black Widow's great too.
Yeah. Although this issue did not make it to my top 5, believe it or not.
This issue wasn't as good. This arc is a little slow, but this book is still really good. Yeah,
Black Widow's really good. Man. I don't think Daredevil's the best. I think it was really good, and the past couple issues have slowed down a little bit, but I do think it's a very good series right now. So
Spider-Woman, Tizzy asks, I like Spider-Woman a lot, but there's some issues that are just not as good as others, and that's why it's like kind of usually middle ground. When it's good, it's really good, but when it's like middle ground, it's kind of towards the lower. Yeah, it's sometimes towards the lower part of the list.
Yeah, exactly. Same. So
Tevye follows that up with, what's the best DC book right now? Joker. Hands down.
The Joker. That's the Black.
Nightwing. I was just right. I was like, wait, Nightwing's out. Nightwing. I love when you said it right at the same time.
That's not. Yeah, that's Joker's Black Label, not mainstream.
No, Joker's mainstream.
No, Joker's mainstream.
Oh, I thought it was Black Label.
No, there's another. There might be another Joker series that's Black Label, but not the Joker. Yeah, they have a couple of Joker.
The Joker itself is regular. Tevye asks X-Men. Far from it. I don't think any X-Men book is doing that great for me. X-Men itself, like if issue 2 is not good, I'm debating on dropping the main series of X-Men. I really did not like that first issue.
Wow. I did not hate it. Yeah. But no, I agree. X-Men is not where I hoped it would be at this point. So
feels
good
like
questions.
The big two are kind of suffering a bit when it comes to their books. There's only like a handful of each series from each company that we like.
Yeah.
No, I definitely get more excited for the indies this year.
Absolutely. That's what I mean.
But speaking of X-Men, our next book is an X-Men title, Cable, issue number 12, the last issue.
This book just wouldn't end. Everything that we thought it was the end, it never was.
Yeah.
It was
so what did you think of the ending? It was fine.
It's just like the rest of the book.
Yeah.
Good art, very mediocre story.
The one thing I liked about this issue was that I forget which one, is it Esme that he's with?
Mm-hmm. You like that they got back together?
Yeah, that we saw her in the future version of her. I thought that was cool. That there was something there, that it wasn't just throwaway. I appreciated that. But other than that, it's like the end of young Cable's story showed us. You know the rest of the story. That's what they literally said, that you know the rest of the story. So
and it made it feel like it didn't matter because, okay, he's not going to be around ever again. Like, why did we follow him then?
Yeah, and I actually liked him better. He grew on me. And I'm going to miss young Cable. And now we're back to old, grumpy Cable. So it's like, what are they going to...
I liked old Cable, but I don't think they've done anything with old Cable in a long time that was that interesting. But young Cable had a bit more energy, definitely a bit more of a personality.
That's the thing. Old Cable is jaded, and he's been jaded since day one, and that never changed. I think the only time he was softer was with Hope.
If they made a Hope and Cable series, that would be really fine.
Yeah, but Hope is part of the 5, so she's stuck hatching eggs, so she's not going anywhere.
Yeah, right? She doesn't get any panel time for it, but she's still stuck doing it.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so going into our number 4, and I lost my banner, so I could turn that off. There we go. Going into our number 4s, let's see, Kat, what was your number 4?
Mine was The Mighty Valkyries. We already talked about it.
All right. And Chris?
Amazing Spider-Man. We already talked about it.
Okay, this is going to be quick because mine was Black Cat, which we already talked about. So there we go. Going into the next big book then is, we already talked about Infinite Frontier, so let's talk about Fantastic Four. The aftermath of the wedding.
It's just one big fight.
Yeah, one big fight.
That's pretty much it. There's nothing that really happens in this issue.
Well, there's one big thing that happens to Human Torch.
Yeah, that's true. But it felt like it happened so quickly. It's like, wait, what? He's got blue powers now?
Yeah, he's always on fire now. He can't stop. He's too hot. So Human Torch is too hot now, and he can't touch anybody. That was the big takeaway here. And the one thing I didn't like about this was Johnny says to Reed, "Tell me you're going to fix this. You're going to fix this. Already working on it, pal." And I'm like, this is what you've been telling the Thing since day one. So that doesn't bode well for the Human Torch, right?
Yeah, nothing's going to work out for Johnny.
Yeah, so it's like, you touch too many people, Johnny. Now you can't touch anybody. So there you go. That's the moral of this story.
That is definitely the moral of this story.
Right? Any other thoughts on Fantastic Four, or is this like, did it fizzle out on you, Kat?
This arc did. I'm curious to see what they're going to do with the next issue because it's the anniversary issue.
Right. Yeah. Which we've got that other anniversary thing happening too, right?
So many anniversary issues.
60-year anniversary, classic retelling of the, I don't know.
Of the Fantastic Four, yeah. They just announced it. I'm like, I don't need that. I know what happened.
Exactly, yeah.
And we also have the life story book that's already doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
In a more interesting way because they're at least like changing the story.
Yeah, I agree.
What about Dr. Doom's wife? I mean, she was loyal to him after. I was like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, but she can't show her face anymore.
She can't show her face.
Yeah.
Are we even going to see her? Or is she going to disappear? Do we care if she shows up again?
Her one saving grace was, her saving Johnny, and then it's like she just went right back to Doom. So, love Power Girl in their OG costume. Okay, cool.
Welcome to the show, Serenity. He doesn't have time to read his books because he joined an art class. Hey,
that's cool. Yeah,
classes. You always catch up with your books later.
Yeah, but it's cool you're taking art. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. So good luck with that. All right, so I guess we're going into our number 3s then. That was quick. All right, what was your number 3, Chris?
Infinite Frontier.
Okay.
All 3 issues.
Oh, nice. And Kat?
Mine was Detective Comics issue.
Oh, okay. 1040, I think.
1040. Yeah. This issue, I like the I'm Batman section, like the middle of it was super interesting. And then it goes nowhere. But I really liked it a lot. Like, I'm just thinking about this as a one-shot at this point. I'm like, oh, man, I like the idea of this random citizen knowing that he's Batman. Also, the artwork is really good for this one.
Oh, yeah.
But the rest of the arc has kind of, went down the tubes already. But still like that part. It was like, again, if you think of it as like a one-shot issue, it wasn't too bad. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, the whole thing with Worth can be over, please. But it's not. I agree. That could have totally been like an anthology story. I know Batman, that kind of thing. But I liked it. I thought it was really good, that part of it. Right. So, did you read this, Chris?
No, I did not. Okay,
cool. All right. So my number 3 is another Batman book, actually, which was Robin, number 4. It was interesting seeing him interact with Ra's al Ghul and Ra's al Ghul kind of acknowledging both that Robin could kill him and that he's both detective and demon. So I mean some high praise from Ra's al Ghul there.
I liked all the stuff surrounding it. Like I liked Ravager,
stuff with Ravager and Respawn. Yeah,
love the ending. Like since the solicits have announced that there was going to be a Robin reunion, that
was my favorite part when they all show up.
Oh, of course, yeah,
absolutely love that.
Yeah, I agree. That was fantastic seeing them all together, and it definitely makes me want to read next issue and see how they all get along with each other and. But yeah, I like the Ravager stuff too, and I'm curious who Respawn is now as well, which was a character I didn't care about before. So that's
I liked her from the end of the first issue. Flatline.
Yeah,
Flatline. That was Flatline. I'm thinking of Flatline.
Yeah. Respawn's like this Deathstroke character, which makes it even more interesting that person's versing Ravager.
Yeah, it's like
about her father.
Yeah, exactly.
Huh?
I was saying her and Ravager in the same book. It's interesting combo.
Yeah. Respawn's like a Deathstroke fan, kind of homaging the costume. So
Ravager's father.
Yeah, so that makes it really interesting. So, but yeah, a lot of good stuff. This is always a good book. Every issue has been really good for me so far. So,
I love one definitely also my top for DC Comics and comics in general.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
definitely going to have the same staying power as Tim's Robin series, I think.
Oh, 100%.
If it goes this way.
Yeah, if it continues on this way, yeah, absolutely, I agree. All right, so next big book is another Batman book, actually. Finding my banner there. Batman Secret Files Huntress, number 1. This was better than I expected. I wasn't even going to get this until
I thought this was worse than expected. So
really,
I'm happy. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
You actually, but it's not in my top 5.
Okay. I I was not going to get this at all until you kind of talked me into it, Kat. So I'm glad I read it.
Well, I'm happy you picked it up and enjoyed it. I'm glad my recommendation helped you, but it didn't help me.
what didn't you like about it? I'm curious.
I'm so tired of this arc, and that's really what the whole entire book's about, is the virus stuff, and I just didn't care. And also the artwork was not too strong. I don't know if we necessarily needed this issue. I think they could have done a lot more with Huntress and with as many pages as they had.
Yeah, I mean, I get that point. I didn't mind the art. I thought it was fine. I kind of liked, because if we weren't going to get her continue on in detective, we still got to continue her story, her side of this in this issue, which I thought was fun.
I do like the idea that Secret Files isn't a filler book. I do like even though like not a lot happens, but it is connected to something. This could have easily been a one shot. So in that regard, I'm excited to see what Secret Files will bring. Yeah.
It's almost like when you have an event and one of those tie-in series kind of tells the rest of that character story. That's kind of what this felt like for me. So I like that, and I really like Huntress, this version of Huntress, and just I can't get enough of her. She's just cool, and like she's just unlike any other Bat character for me right now. So
she's always been unlike every other Bat character. She's always kind of had her own style of things, which I always loved about Huntress.
She's the Spider-Woman of the Bat.
Yeah,
she's not really too involved unless she really has to be.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so. All right, and so that is that, and we already talked about the other two, so we will go into our number twos, which mine was actually Batman Secret Files Huntress. So, Kat, what was yours?
Mine was Robin. We already talked about it.
Same thing.
All right, so that leaves us with our number ones, which I have a strange feeling that they're all the same.
Superman,
Son of Kal-El. Yeah. Crazy.
That is,
I can't
honestly
believe it.
Is crazy for a book like that.
And it's a Superman book. That's usually my thing.
Yeah.
It shows Tom Taylor is that good of a writer. And also Timms did really good on the art as well.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's our top 5. And we went through that very quick.
I told you, man, I thought it would be a quick week just because there wasn't, besides Superman, there weren't a lot of big titles that came out this week.
Yeah, that's true. So I guess that moves us into the chopping block.
Yep. The block where we take the books that we don't like and chop them out of our existence in collections. So I've got none because I've literally only read a handful of books this week. So Kat, do you have anything you're chopping this week?
Yes, Icon and Rocket is on the chopping block. It just didn't give me enough to warrant an issue 2.
Yeah, that's my only one. It's a half chop. Like I said, wow. I'm gonna try that second issue, and if that one doesn't grab me, then it's gone.
Fair enough. And that's it for the chop. Moving along to most anticipated.
Yeah. All right. So we talked about this book earlier, and no, actually, yeah, it does come out tomorrow. All right, Sinister War number 2. It seems like we're anticipating that. Hopefully, it's as good as the first issue. Yeah,
it will continue. What happened in the first issue?
yeah. Hopefully, it's as strong as that first issue, and we get more movement and momentum. And maybe that's why Amazing Spider-Man 71 didn't move a lot, because
they don't have it. Yeah. Just let it be, you know? I don't want to spend the money if you don't have anything to say.
Yeah. Gotcha. All right, let's see. There's a new book coming out called The Me You Love in the Dark. It looked pretty interesting. Mike was showing one of the covers off in his video this week as well, his top 10 covers thing. And the art looks solid, so I'm curious about it. It seems like an interesting concept, so I'm going to check it out. And Crush and Lobo, man, it doesn't seem like it's been that long since that last issue came out either.
I don't think it was that long, but it's such a good book. I'm not complaining that it's coming out soon. It's really, really fun. It's a mix of superhero and slice of life, and it just works. And it's Mariko Tamaki's
Yeah.
style used at its best.
Yeah. I absolutely love the first 2 issues. I cannot wait for this one. It'll probably be the first thing I read. Any thoughts, Chris? You marked that one, so
I'm loving Crushing Lobo. I think it surprised me because the first issue I was expecting to have that on my chopping block, and I loved it a lot. And then the second issue just continued to confirm it. So this one's going to be another one that I'm enjoying. It's a surprising issue, and I honestly, Lobo is a touch and go with the Superman series. He's always a pain in the ass to Superman, but it's a fun read. I'm one of the few that actually enjoy when he shows up in a Superman book. But him and his daughter, I love the dynamic, and I didn't read Crushing Teen Titans, so this is my first book that I'm reading with Crush in it, and I like it.
Oh, wow. No. You would like that run of Teen Titans.
Yeah. I know. I'm going to probably get the trades of that.
Yeah. That one would be a good one.
I actually no, I'm wrong. Michael actually has a few of the issues. We would get them, so I'll probably go back and read those.
Nice. All right, Immortal Hulk. This is the penultimate issue, right? 49.
I loved the last issue, and I loved the issue before that. So I'm hoping the penultimate issue is just as good as those previous issues. But yeah, I'm stoked to see how this ends.
Yeah,
I'm just curious to see one of the best Marvel books.
I'm just curious to see what Hulk is going to come out in the end of this series. Like who the Hulk is actually going to be.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. Like what direction this book will go after Immortal
the Hulk's been everyone at this point in this series. Joe Fixit, the Mean Green. We had the one from all the way back when Hulk first came out. I'm curious. And where do you go from a horror direction?
I don't know.
I mean, Donny Cates is taking over Hulk, which is super interesting as well.
Yeah, that might get me reading Hulk again. So we'll see. Sorry, the horror thing just never grabbed me, but I'm.
It'll just be ultimate horror. It's going to be even more horrific.
Yeah, I mean,
definitely can't happen. Like this is as horrific as it gets. But
yeah, but Donny Cates could do something with that. Yeah, for sure. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. All 3 of you have raved about this more than not. So
I don't think it needed to be 50 issues, but
yeah. All right, so next up we got Firepower number 14.
Last issue was really good.
Yeah, last issue was really good, and things are back on track, and totally different direction. But yeah, this is another one of those books that it's just like every single issue, even if it's a slower issue, even if not a lot happens, it's just good. It's always solid at the very least. So.
Yeah, for sure. And I like that they're back in the suburbs. I think that makes the book a bit stronger.
I still wonder how their relationship's going to survive all this. I
don't know either, honestly.
Yeah.
But you could say the same thing between like Adam Eve and Invincible and how much they went through in Invincible, and they were able to go through the other end. Same writer.
That's true.
So.
Yeah, that's very true. So we'll see what direction he takes their relationship. All right, we got X-Men number 2, which we talked about it earlier. It's on the fence for you. Yeah.
Yeah. I really didn't like that issue.
I'm trying to remember what happened, actually.
Exactly.
I don't remember either now that you did. I did read X-Men 1.
I don't think anything really happened. I think it was just them fighting. It was like a big fight.
I think we were all expecting a little bit more, and we were a little disappointed with what we got, from what I remember. But
I definitely remember that.
Yeah.
Again, I'll give it another issue. Maybe if it really doesn't impress this one, I might really drop it issue 3. But if it's like a middle ground, maybe I'll give it another issue. I don't want to drop the X-Men. At the same time, you can't have stuff on your pull list just because it's a franchise, except if it's Spider-Man. It's the only franchise, no matter what. It could be like nothing on a page. It's all white pages. I don't care. I'll still buy Spider-Man.
And Chris feels that way about Superman unless Bendis is writing him. All right, so Batman number 111.
This has been a slow arc.
Both Batmans have been both Batman books have been slow.
That's true.
Yeah, Which one is? What's going on in
This
Batman?
is
See,
they're
Brent's gonna do what I was
leading
gonna do. Now wait a minute, what's going on in which Batman book?
they're leading into Fear State. So you have
Oh yeah,
Molly
yeah.
stuff, yeah.
The Miracle Molly and the Scarecrow stuff where he's
Peacemaker.
yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Not much is happening, so
Right.
Slow burn. Both of them are slow
Mm-hmm.
burn.
I think
Yeah.
Batman's a slower burn than Detective. And Detective's pretty slow.
Yeah. They just been recently. They've been playing up the Peacemaker thing, and I'm not loving that. So yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. So last book we got is Seven Secrets, number 11, which is, last issue was really good, right?
Yeah. They've been picking up this arc. It's
Yeah.
not as strong as that first arc, but still,
Right.
now that the mom is kind of fully taken over and getting
Right.
the gist of things, I think it's finding some steady ground.
Yeah, that last issue was the president, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she met up with the president and everything.
Or the
Yeah, so
queen.
it's or queen. Yeah, the queen. Yeah, I was getting mixed up, but yeah, and the dad's back obviously and stuff. We talked about all that, but yeah, it's really picking up. Another really good, solid indie series. So, but that's all our most anticipated this week, and so yeah.
I mean, we could take some questions since we wrapped pretty early. If guys have any questions, maybe we should have said that before the most anticipated.
Yeah, maybe.
But I saw one question we can answer. If you guys have any more before we wrap up, let us know. Tevia says, any opinion on the I Am Not Starfire YA novel that's caused so much controversy? I can't have an opinion on just that, that people, the SJW type controversy, I guess, is the best way to put it.
Here we go again.
Exactly. It's the same people you don't want to
read it. I didn't read it, so I don't know what it is.
I don't care about those people's opinions, like it is that book is for, people who want to read that book. And I personally didn't read it just because I don't read the YA novels, but I'm sure there's people out there that could very much relate to it and enjoy it. It's not in continuity at all, so I don't know why the internet always needs to have a problem with everything that's not made for them.
That's the definition of the internet.
Right? Exactly. Why there has to be a controversy about anything, I don't know. So it's like, who cares? Especially for something that's not even affecting main continuity. And really, who cares? You really don't need to read it.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah. So, okay.
I mean, those are all the questions I saw. I guess we could start wrapping up and just see what's coming up for everybody. So, Chris, you want to go down the line?
So this is the end of the show this week. We're going to start with Brent. What you got coming up and going on?
That's a good question. I'm in the middle of a fulfillment on a few campaigns. I got Last Ember surveys going out, so if you backed Last Ember Hunted, issue 1 surveys are out for that. And beyond that, we've got another book we're going to be releasing soon, a cyberpunk book called In the Land of the Dragon. So you'll be hearing a lot more about that in the weeks to come. Yeah, I guess that's it for me.
All right, Kat, what you got going on?
Every week we get the release of Slice of Life, which is about a gritty anime protagonist who's brought to the real world. She learns there's more to life than darkness or revenge and finds love with a kind-hearted cheerleader. I'm going to post the link to that. It's completely free to read, and reading and subscribing definitely helps support the webcomic. And in October, we'll have a physical version of that book for people that are more interested in the comic book version. And then also in August 30th, we're going to be launching Bi Visibility, a bisexual anthology, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's an anthology about bisexuality, but there's stories all across the spectrum, from fantasy to romance to action, espionage. So definitely go check it out. The book is actually all done. So literally when the campaign is over, we will be shipping out everything. I'm literally printing the book now, so everything could be out in time for right after we finish the campaign. Other than that, I feel like we never physically talk about the top 5 panels. So go vote for your favorite panel. We always do our top 5 panels on our website for Comic Frontline every week, and yeah, you guys get a chance to pick the panel, and at the end of the year, we pick the panel of the year through these votes. So be sure to check that out. Other than that, I guess we should announce that Mike will be coming back in 2 weeks. Last week, I know we said 2 weeks as well, but it's August 17th. We actually have the date for it. So he will be back, and we'll be all back in full force. And then actually the week after, I won't be on the show, but after that, we'll be back on full force. Also, I should mention that I posted a free Comic Book Day most anticipated book, because I'll be doing a signing at JHU Comics on Free Comic Book Day and doing a vlog there. I'll literally be sitting there all day. So why not do a Free Comic Book Day vlog, and it'll be like inside the comic book store for Free Comic Book Day. So if you guys are interested in that, look forward to all that. And if you live on Staten Island / New York, definitely go visit.
Cool. And there's I was going to say, there's our top 5 panels if you want to check that out. And you can go through all our picks. All 4 of us contributed this week, so that's cool. And then you can vote in the poll down there at the bottom. So.
Yeah, if you missed Mike's voice throughout the weeks, you get a little gist of what Mike liked this week for his comics.
Yeah.
And then as far as I'm concerned, I've got a lot of stuff that's ending on my personal end. So the question of what's next, that's a very good question. We'll see what happens. There are a few things I have in mind, but nothing solid yet. So my future's kind of like, we'll see. There's a few things. But that's it for news. That's it for everything. So thank you all so much once again for being here for Comic Book Weekly. Don't forget to click that sub button if you're watching us on the YouTube. It's over Brand's head. Click the bell. That's over Cat's head if you want to be notified when we go live on YouTube. Also, don't forget to check us out on iTunes. Leave a 5-star rating, and we will read your 5-star rating right here on Comic Book Weekly. But also don't forget to follow all the Comic Frontline social medias, which is all the way down below. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. It shows YouTube you enjoyed this video. And if you're listening on iTunes, go over to YouTube and give it a thumbs up. This way it can show you that you enjoyed the episode. But anyway, till next time, everybody, take care. Have a wonderful week, and we will see you all next time.